Welcome, everyone. I'm very upset right now. um, that was really frustrating. Timberwolves lose to the Boston Celtics 102 to 104. Um, but it wasn't really the Boston Celtics that we played tonight. It was the refs. And sure, I know what everybody's going to say. They're going to say, oh, you could have played better. And we could have. There are things that we could have done a lot better. But guess what? That happens in every game for every team. Every team could have done something a little bit better, a little bit differently. And it's not even to the point where you could say, like, there's sometimes in games where it's like, well, you don't want to put yourself in a situation to have like one call go against you. Well, it wasn't one call tonight. It was, I don't know, a dozen. And I'm not even exaggerating. There were at least a dozen calls tonight that were either questionable or like, why don't you call us on the other end? Something as small as that, which is a pretty normal thing in a Timberwolves game, to Joe Mazzulla running out to the free throw line while play is happening and not getting a technical foul and proceeding to stay out for an extended amount of time. And not that one technical foul would have done it for us, but, and then Jason Tatum's running up the court. We just have a lot of things happening that should have been technical fouls and should have given us some amount of a chance. The Timberwolves actually fought back tonight. But Godfrey says every losing team thinks the refs are bad. Godfrey, I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't be on the same wavelength as you. I understand what you're saying. And like, yes, bad teams always think that. And that is true. Like the Timberwolves have thought that for a long time. And I try to reserve myself from making these comments too much because I do know that it comes off as a very loser mentality type of thing. But tonight was bad. Tonight really was bad. And there were several calls that just ended up affecting the outcome of the game. Now, you can also say Rudy Gobert missed, 5 free throws, 4 free throws, whatever. We missed a lot of free throws in the game. But it was just an atrocious game. And it was really unenjoyable game in the beginning. Like the first half was not fun because both teams couldn't score. What was the half? We were like 44 to 43 at half or something like that. I don't know. I'm just super upset, and I'm sure we'll get some post tomorrow about how, we should have called a technical here, we should have done this and whatever, but that doesn't change the outcome of the game. And this game today, we had the potential of falling to the 10 seed tonight. Now, luckily, we're going to talk some good news now. The Lakers lost. So the Lakers losing means that we stay above them. We do fall to 500, but if we take a look here, I meant to check and see what the Mavs did too. The Mavs look like they're going to win. They're going to win, which separates them a little bit further from us. Now, the other good news is that the Clippers play the Golden State Warriors tonight. So one of those teams is going to lose, and they're both above us. So that means we'll stay not even with them, but stay the same amount of games back. But it's just, this is just pain. The Grizzlies lost tonight. The Lakers lost tonight. The Kings almost lost, but they came back. But it doesn't really matter because we're not fighting for the 3 or 4 seed. We're fighting for like the 6th seed possibly. So the 6th seed is still possible, and it will be for some time. I don't want to make it seem like this determines the rest of the season because that's not the case. That's not. This was a tough game. We knew this was going to be a tough game. Honestly, I wasn't expecting us to be this close in this game, which is why it's even more frustrating that all these things kind of went down. But so we are in the 5th seed right now. We're at 500. The Thunder are 1 game below 500. So they're a half a game below us right now. They play tomorrow. If they win, they're tied with us. The Mavs just won. They're up to 500 again. And the Lakers luckily lost. So, you're going to lose a game and it's going to feel like I said in this last show, you lose a game and it feels like you lose 5 because it really does feel like that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just off on the refs tonight, or maybe I just cared more tonight or something. I don't know what it was, but it just felt egregiously bad. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to jump right into the tier list just because it's funny because all the ref stuff that was happening tonight, it just kind of made me not recall things from the game because I was just so focused on the refs. But let me pull this up here. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. It was just a really frustrating game to watch. And we're in this stretch. Me and Ashwin talked about this last time where, if you go 2-3, it's probably okay in the next couple games. If you go 3-2, that's really good. But you cannot go 1-4. And, right now it's looking closer to, obviously this was a tough game and we were close. But like you lost, it doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't matter what the ref said. You lost the game. Now, one thing I could get an argument with, or I could agree with, is that, we shouldn't be in this situation in the season. For this game, I think it was BS. But for like the season, we've had so many winnable games this season that we shouldn't have to be caring this much about one atrocious game from the refs. That I can get on board with. But tonight was just so bad. But anyways, so I'm doing solo, so you're going to have to bear with me because I got to pull up the stats solo and look myself. Oh my gosh, wait a second. The Mavs did not lose. They just tied the game. The Spurs just tied the game. What is going on? Okay, interesting. Well, that would be really nice if the Mavs lose. Like, that's great for us. That really, because then the Lakers, Mavs, and then one of the two, Clippers or Golden State, will lose tonight. And then that makes this loss that much less painful. So please, Spurs, please. But we're going to start with Baby Mac. By the way, Jaden revealed his nickname preferences, and it can be J or Slim. I can deal with those. That's okay. I just couldn't do. Wow, Ant almost had a triple-double. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by everything. Ant and Nah were the only positive players for the Wolves tonight. That's even weirder. Okay, so Baby Mac played 18 minutes, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 of 6 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3. It was like an okay game. It's just a very just Baby Mac game. He had I think he got like a steal at one point where he got that steal and he missed a layup. He pulled a Shabazz, or he pulled a Jalen Noel. That was painful because that was a big moment because he got the steal and we could have, I think, tied it or even taken the lead. And him just trying to get that layup, like he's got to know that he's not the player to do that. Too contested of a layup at that moment. You just have to pass it back, or I don't know, take your time or whatever. I know you want to just go straight for their throats and just end it. And like really get them reeling, but just take your time, But I'd say a C for Baby Mac tonight. I don't think it was that much more important than any other night. Torian Prince played 20 minutes, only had 3 points, but it was kind of a big three. It was like that. It was that moment that we talked about a little bit last game where it's like, it's just like the adults are here, and it just has like a calming effect on the team. But realistically, he didn't contribute nearly as much as I think we needed tonight. We really needed a good bench night tonight because only Ant was on. Ant, and I guess all the players ended up with like decent totals or whatever. But like, it's we just needed more. We had a good defensive night in the beginning, and really for the most part throughout. But you can't just have good defense; you have to have some amount of offense, especially from your bench, and we just didn't have it. So I think I'm going to go with a D for Torian tonight. Just expect a little bit more points out of him, and we just didn't get that. So, let's see. Catching up on comments. Let's see. 1 minute left. Rudy plays. Insane D on Tatum. Grabs the rebound. Hands it to Ant. Wolves go down by 2. Ant settles for the long step back 3. Misses. Game over. Yeah, that 3 also was a big problem. Sorry, I realized you made this several minutes ago, so I apologize. But yes, that was a big one. Ant is just really hunting for that like crowd pop moment, which I don't know. There's elements of it that I'm okay with, but he's really got to be more efficient at this stuff because like he was shooting pretty well in the beginning. I mean, what did he shoot? Like his first 3 or 4 threes in a row were good. But it just we have to have high efficiency plays, especially at the end of the game. And Ant's the one that you want taking that shot, but like, step back threes, like let's just get a bucket, But he was also going for the 2-for-1, I think. But I mean, 2-for-1, maybe different terminology when we get to this late in the game. And yes, Jeff, they did just tie it. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. That'll be really interesting. They're still tied in overtime as we speak. So up next, who do we got? Let's see, Jaden. Let's do Nas because Nas was not starting. So Nas played 19 minutes, had 15 points. Ended up getting a couple big buckets for us. No blocks, no steals, 6 rebounds. Rebounds were really weirdly distributed tonight between everybody. Ant had the most rebounds, and everybody else had like 6 or 7. It was really strange. But Nas played pretty well tonight. And honestly, Nas is just like, we need to appreciate Nas because he's really become somewhat of like a reliable player for us. And that's really nice, especially when Carl's out. We've been able to rely a little bit on his 3-point shooting, not nearly as much as Carl, but it's good to have. It's good to have a player like Nas. And then behind that, you still got players like you got Nate Knight, you got Matt, I don't know why I keep trying to call him Matt Garza, Luca Garza. You just got solid bigs, and it's crazy because once Town comes back, you're going to have like the best bigs in the league. it's just insane. But Nas played well tonight. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's just a C tonight. If anybody has any strong feelings about that, please let me know. But I don't know. This was just kind of a regular Nas, which is good. I this is C is what we expect out of a player, and this is what we've come to sort of expect out of Nas, unless I'm forgetting some huge play or something. But so as T, good competitive game, some bad calls, but good game. There was really no one to blame. It was like a competitive game at the end. And I guess throughout, like it was close for the most part. Like they only had 10-point leads and stuff like that. But the refs there were several calls that were really bad. And there's some where like it's just like a missed call, whatever, but like these technicals and stuff, I'm just not going to get over it. And I think I need to stop talking about it. But Wolves own the tiebreakers over the Mavs, so it don't matter if the Mavs win tonight. Well, yeah, but still, like we want them to lose. We want to have as much separation as possible between us and the Mavs. Not that I am like such a believer in the Mavs necessarily really passing us, but it's just I just want to be ready for everything. We need all the help we can get because apparently we're just a 500 team. So, but back to the tier list. Who are we on? Oh, I did Nas. I guess we'll just do the starting lineup now. So we'll start with Jaden. Jaden, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal in 33 minutes. He was 5 of 12 shooting, had a little bit of a rough night shooting. And it was, there were a couple times when he had some open threes and he just missed them. We really need Jaden to become like he doesn't have to be elite. He just has, I guess maybe his numbers are fine, but like, I just want him to be a better 3-point shooter. We just need those moments because if he can be a consistent threat from 3, man, it would just kill opponents because they'd have to cover so many things. Godfrey, he just does that all the time though. I'm not excusing it, but he does that all the time at the end of quarters, at the end of halves. So I think he just does it all the time. I don't know, but I'm not excusing it. I'm not saying it's okay, and it's not. It's just not a good shot to have. But Jaden, though, I'm gonna go with a C. This was just a Jaden game. I don't want to just say it was a Jaden game because that gets me out of like any kind of analysis, but like. He had some effect, but he did have a lot of fouls. He did have, I think, 4 or 5. Let's see. Does it say fouls? He only had 4. So, the 4, I can't remember. I think Grady said it. He's good for one of those like pushing fouls every single game, which is frustrating. And I think we need to stop that. But, Jaden, as the season goes on, he gets a little bit, better shooting wise, and not tonight wasn't a great shooting night, but yeah, I hope that he can really get hot because we need him for the play-in or playoff or whatever's happening for us. My goodness, Steph Curry's crazy. Sorry, I'm just watching him hit a long three, and there's a fight. Let's go. Sorry, I'm watching the game. But yeah, we'll give Jaden a C. Next, who do we got next? Let's do Rudy. So Rudy had only 15 points, 6 rebounds, a steal, an assist, and apparently a flagrant foul, which I don't know. Some people were saying things like they thought it was maybe valid that it was flagrant. I don't think that was flagrant. I mean, he's just going for the block, and he like makes contact with Tatum's foot or whatever. But like, I don't know. I heard people talking about like a follow through? Maybe I was just too angry in the moment that happened because that was just such a momentum play. But like, was that a flagrant? Am I wrong? That didn't feel like a flagrant to me. And like obviously, I'm happy that Tatum's helped like okay after that because he fell on his tailbone, which can suck, you know. But I don't know, just that didn't seem like a flagrant to me. And then got the technical. Honestly, I almost want to give him bonus points because he got kind of cheated out of these calls today. But Godfrey, oh, good point. I didn't read off the. He was 3 for 7 from free throws. Has Rudy always sucked at shooting free throws? Yes. Not so much with us, though. Honestly, with us, he's been, at least as far as I remember, better than he was with the Jazz. I don't think he was that good with the Jazz. I thought he was like a sub 50% free throw shooter. And with us, he's been, I think, over 60, but I could be wrong. It's felt like he's been pretty good. Tonight was not good, though. And of course, we missed the free throws, but if he meets all those free throws, of course, we win the game, but that's not how that works. Too many different factors going into that. So, but Rudy only had 6 rebounds tonight. Like I said, it was kind of a weird rebound night. I don't know if I blame him for this or if this was just like, there's times where like you don't get the stats, but it's like it doesn't matter because it's just kind of in the flow of the game. I guess that's kind of how I feel about the rebounds tonight. I didn't see any like egregious misses from him. There was maybe one that bounced, but the Celtics, when they missed shots tonight, they just bounced unfortunately far away from the players. And there was Timberwolves around the basket, just they were bouncing out to like the 3-point line. And it didn't happen like a ton, but it happened at least like 3 or 4 times. So, but that's not really a Rudy problem. This is so lame, but I think I'm just going to go with a C. I don't know. This was a whatever game. This was okay. He had the lob from Ant, but that was more Ant. That's, by the way, that shocked me. That lob from Ant. I couldn't believe that. I love that. I'm about that. Especially late game like that. That makes Rudy valid late game because if Ant can drive, like we're hoping he would, and then lob it, then it opens up so many opportunities for things to happen on the offense. So whether it's late game, mid game, early, I want that. So we'll give him a C. But next, let's do Kyle Anderson, who got ejected from the game. 15 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, almost a nightly triple-double. We should call him like Jokic Light or something like that because that's really what happens. Career 65.5. Yeah, that's bad. Oh, he's career 65. Okay, so then he's been about the same. Okay. I thought he was worse. I thought he was like, casually just going like 3 of 10 every single game, but I guess he's been better than that. So tonight was worse for him then. But yeah, Kyle Anderson, 15.7 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 blocks, 1 really good block. He was 7 of 14 shooting, but honestly, it felt like he missed a lot. He's also taking quite a lot of shots for being Kyle Anderson. And then he had the embarrassing halftime thing where he was trying to like practice his shot and he missed like 3 in a row, which had no defenders and pressure. But yeah, no, it was a good game from Kyle, though. I mean, Kyle's just this person that, like, in general, as I was saying with Torian Prince, like, he just has this calming effect on the team, and he just calms us whenever we need it, and he gets buckets when we need it. And even though he was missing a lot tonight, It was okay. I just don't know if I want to give him a B. I don't know if I can go all the way up to a B. Maybe. I mean, it's probably a B worthy game. He hit some shots. Maybe not. This is kind of a C. This is a C game. This is what we expect out of him. Like, this is nothing different. Whoa, my comments are being weird. Next up, Mike Conley. Mike Conley, where'd he go? There he is. 29 minutes, only had 7 points, five rebounds, and only 2 assists. He was 2 of 7 shooting. Both of those were 3-pointers. I think Mike Conley's trying to get a technical. He has not had a technical in the longest amount of time, or ever, or something like that. I can't remember. I think he's trying to. There were moments today where he was like clapping at the refs and things. He's definitely trying to get people's attention. But this was not a great game from him. Missed shots. He didn't take a ton, which is okay. We're not expecting Mike Conley to come in here and shoot like D'Lo. But like we just wanted to hit those occasional threes, and he hit one tonight, right? I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, he had 2. Yeah, that's right. Both of them were threes. So like that's okay. But I think we'd probably want closer to like 10 or 13 points, somewhere in that realm, because again, that would be the difference in the game. But C at most, yeah, I agree with that about Kyle. I don't think it was a D though. I think C is pretty fair. But for Mike, maybe a D. I mean, we just didn't have the assists. He didn't have the floater game going. He didn't have any of that going. No lob presence with Gobert. Like, that's kind of what we are expecting from him, and we just didn't have it. So I think I'm going to go with a D. I don't think I can give him Wancho. It's not Wancho. Wancho's pretty harsh. There's a pretty steep fall off from D to Wancho tier. Like, D is just like slightly below average. Wancho is like, we hate you. Like, we hate you. And we don't hate Mike Conley yet. Or at least I don't. Last but not least, Anthony Edwards. 38 minutes, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, almost a triple-double. No stocks, steals or blocks tonight. He was +5 tonight. He was 50% from the field, 10 of 20, 5 of 8 from 3. He only got to the line, or he only shot from the line 5 times tonight, which is ridiculous. And yeah, it's a pretty good game from Ant. We didn't have like the patented like stocks, steals and blocks and things like that, which is something we've come to expect from him. We also didn't have the. We had some good buckets, especially it was mainly in the beginning though, because he got hit by Jaden on that play right in the face, and then he drained a 3 right after that. But like once we came into the third quarter is where the Celtics kind of really started to take. They never really fully took over, but like that's where they got momentum on their side, and then Ant was kind of nowhere to be seen until near the end, or like the second half of the third quarter. So that was frustrating. And we need more of that. And then, like Godfrey mentioned earlier, that step back 3 near the end of the game, it's like, we could have just driven there, try to get a foul. It wouldn't have been called, but try to get a foul or a lob like he did to Gobert, which that play alone gets me points. Like that gives me points to want to make him be higher. But like, again, this is somewhat of an expected game from Ant. And, as the tier list goes, C is expected. And honestly, maybe we should just change it. Instead of C, we should just say expected, because C makes it seem like you did bad or something. But no, it was just another Ant game, which again, I appreciate. Having Anthony Edwards on this team, it's just so fun to have. He makes shots that players on Timberwolves teams in the past have not made. He has exciting defensive plays that is something we almost have never seen other than KG. It's fun to have him, but I think tonight it probably makes sense to have him as a C. I'll put him at the top of C, though. Obviously, he's got to be here, and I'll just do this right now if I can. Expected. There we go. No more confusion. D grade needs 2 more assists for. Are you talking about slow-mo? I don't even know what you're talking about. Or oh no, you're talking about D. It's a D, but he's not Wancho. He's definitely not Wancho. Solidus T says they are trying to get Mike Conley to score more, which is fine. I like his pace better than D'Lo. Only problem is I'm seeing is Ant is standing in the corner. Yeah, Ant does this a lot, and I don't have as big of a problem as other people do about this. Like I don't view it as like, oh, it's Andrew Wiggins 2.0 or something like that. But he definitely does, because like obviously Ant is not anything like him, but it's he just has like these moments where he does just like zone out, and it's like the play's not for him, so he just isn't involved. And part that's definitely on Ant, but there's also probably a part where it's like, why can't he have some amount of action in the play? Or is he supposed to have action in the play, and he's just not doing it? Like there's a lot of things that we need to know there, but yeah, just kind of weird, but I'm not super concerned about it because obviously he still contributes in a million different ways. So, by the way, I just can't get over how happy I'm the Lakers lost. If the Lakers were to pass us, like that this would have been such a bad night. Okay, we've got a quote from NBA officials after the game tonight. We should probably pull this up, honestly. Like, holy cow. What do they say? I don't know if I want to hear what they have to say, but we can oblige. Okay, my computer's not copying and pasting. Okay, let's see what they have to say. Stop. Okay, we'll see this together. I saw a little bit of it, but I haven't seen all of it. Okay. So, question: why was Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla not assessed a technical foul for coming out of the court to the other end of the court during the jump ball situation? During live play, the officiating crew did not see Coach Mazzulla cross the midcourt line as they were focused on a loose ball that resulted in a jump ball, which was you can't do that, right? You can't just tap the ball like that. I thought you couldn't do that. Okay, so basically they weren't paying attention. Convenient. Other question: why were Kyle Anderson and Anthony Edwards ejected in the final 2 seconds of the game? Okay, so this is perfect. This answers our question because I know Kyle was like really yelling. Edwards was ejected, one technical foul for directly questioning the integrity of the officiating crew. Fair, but you can't do that. Anderson was ejected after being assessed his second technical foul for multiple profanities directed at officiating crew. I think that's fair too. Also, I mean, Jason Tatum was doing this too. All these things were happening on the other end. So I guess, you know what? We'll just take the brunt. We got it, NBA. We'll take the brunt of all the bad calls, and we just won't care because I guess it's just Minnesota, and who cares about Minnesota? Whatever. Fantastic. Let's see. Ernest says, I missed the Pat Bev energy. True. Now, I will say the ejections, that was kind of nice. I was happy to see some ejections. It made me feel a little bit more released after that. Like, I was like, okay, good. Like, we've got some anger on the court. That's good. But Godfrey bringing up the great point. Lakers start D'Lo, Vando, and Beasley and lose to the Rockets, who are in the Wemby sweepstakes. Amazing. I mean, that's just amazing. And I believe at a point I saw that Vanderbilt had like a ton of shots. Let's see, what did it end up with? He was 6 of 13, but he started, I think, 1 of 7. D'Lo only had 18 points. He was 5 of 17. Beasley went off the other night, but Beasley had 16 points and he was 6 of 17. I mean, these are all standard numbers for those, but we all know Vando's got the energy. The other two are just hot one night and cold for the next 5. Ant tonight being in the corner and not getting plays ran for him made it easier for the Celtics to get ahead. Yeah, I agree with that. I also think that there's still too many calls being made from Coach Finch or the coaching staff in general to get Rudy the ball. Like there's some plays where it makes sense. There was actually one play where Rudy had it and then he kicked it back out for 3 to Conley, who hit it. That was a nice play, but that was a little bit more on Conley making himself available. So yeah, there's, there's that, but there's still just too much happening for Rudy. And maybe that's just because Cat's out, but it still concerns me. That's a whole other topic. Western Wolf, good to see you again. How are we doing? I drank a tall can in like 7 seconds when that game ended. Yeah, tonight's a drinking night as a Timberwolves fan, or whatever you do to relieve yourself of stress. Oh man, I just hate the Celtics too. I don't know what it is. It's their jerseys, it's their mascot, it's the fact that they're from Boston. Like, there's just so many things I hate about it. Also, I don't know why. This is a really irrelevant thing to care about, but so Jason Tatum is like on a cereal box, and it drives me. No, maybe it's not a cereal box. Let me see. He's on Ruffles. I know that. Maybe it's just Ruffles. So he's on. I gotta share this. This is so stupid. Share. He's on this pack of Ruffles. I just hate this smile that he's doing, and it makes me want him to lose. Like, I hate it. And I think he's on Wheaties too. Yeah, he's on Wheaties too. That's good enough reason for me to want him to lose, right? But yeah, no, I don't like. I mean, he's good, but and so is Jaylen Brown, but I don't know. Wolves are paying a lot of money for a guy they ignore on offense. yeah, I don't know, but frustrating loss. Karl-Anthony Towns is apparently doing some on-court workouts and things like that. I don't know. Maybe I feel like everybody else maybe has a different opinion on this than me, but I kind of feel like we should just be shutting him down for the season. I don't want to worry, and I know this is a little like it's biased because it's coming from somebody who's a self-proclaimed Towns hater. I mean, I'm not a hater, but I'm just very critical of Towns. But like, I just don't think we should play. I do think it would be better for him to be on the court for us to win games. Like, I do believe that. But right now, it seems like too much of a risk. He's coming back from this injury that was way longer than 4 to 6 weeks as originally proclaimed, which either means they were insanely wrong from the get-go, which there's been some reports of, or two, it just took a lot longer. And I don't really want to risk Towns being out even longer just because we want to hit the 6th seed or something. This season's already been somewhat of a letdown. We're at 500. We're at 500 right now. We're 35 and 35 or 36 and 36. Like, we're not gonna win 50 games this year. We might not even win 45 games this year. So we're probably going to be closer to like 40 games. We might win 40 games. We might be a below 500 team this year. So, like, why try to bring Cat back just to salvage that? Cat's with us next year. Rudy's with us. The whole team is basically with us next year. So, like, there's really no reason to rush him back. But apparently we are rushing him back. I don't know. I worry about other injuries that could come from this, whether it be like the Achilles, whether it could be other ligaments or muscles or whatever in that area. I don't want to think about that with him. And I certainly don't want to integrate him back into our lineup in the first play-in or playoff game that we have. Like, that's not how I want to do that. Sure, that could give some element of surprise, I guess, to the team we're going up against, because they literally have no idea how it's going to look since we looked like garbage in the beginning of the season with him. And maybe we won't now, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just the one that thinks that's just my opinion, but like, I don't think we should be rushing him back. I think we should be saving him for next year or whatever we're doing with him next year. I don't know whether that's trading him, whether that's, running everything back the same exact way. I have zero clue. But next couple games. So Ashton and I talked about this. We wanted to go at least 2-3, hopefully 3-2. We are so far 0-1 out of those 5 games. But this was a game that we probably expected to lose. Maybe not by 2 points. The Celtics are a really good team, and I do think that they have I know they've been struggling a little bit lately. I do think the Celtics have a good chance to win the title this year. They just, the combo of Brown and Tatum obviously are just super, super deadly. And then they have all these great role players. They have Brogdon, they have They have Smart, they have Horford, and they're not role players; they're the starters. But these players are they're really good. They're really deep, and they could, if they start clicking like they can, they will beat most teams, and especially in 7-game series. But comments. I think Cat wants to play in that Lakers game on the 31st to stop D'Lo, Beasley, and Vando. Hey, maybe. I mean, I believe Cat wants to come back very badly. I do, but there's so many elements to it that I don't even want to get into right now. But yeah, there's just too much to talk about with him. But the next 4 games that now we need to go at least 2-2 on, or 3-1 on, to feel somewhat decent, because again, we go into that. Speaking of Solidus T, exactly what you're talking about. That last week of March is just atrocious. We play the Warriors, the Kings, the Suns, and the Lakers. That is just too much stress. But the next 4 games, the Bulls, who just lost to the Kings tonight, Toronto, the Knicks, and the Hawks. These 4 games are probably the most winnable out of the 5 games that there were. Like, if you were going to say what games we lost, you were probably going to guess Boston. And you might guess the next 2, even without Jalen Brunson. They've still been playing pretty well. I worry about Zach LaVine revenge game. I worry about Pat Bev revenge game now. Toronto just plays well a lot of the times against us. It's kind of a 50-50 game. And then the Hawks, we just beat them, so they're probably going to want to win now. But they also look pretty bad. If I'm going to go out on a limb and guess the results of the next 4 games, it's certainly not impossible that we win all 4 of these games, but I think it's likely that we win. I think it's likely that we win the Chicago game. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to be positive. This is stupid. I should not be being positive right now. I think we win against the Bulls. I think we win against the Raptors. I think we lose against the Knicks. And a part of me says that we win all 4 of these games, which is really stupid. Don't listen to me. But I say we lose against the Knicks, and then we win against the Hawks at home. So we go 3-1. I'd accept that. I'm okay with that. That's okay. Hey, T, welcome to the channel. New to the channel. I appreciate it. We do this after every game, and especially now. I've been absent for a lot of games, but I'm going to be trying to do almost every single game as much as I can, whether that's super late after the game or what, but I'm going to be doing it. So check us out. We also got a Discord. 8-12 on the road. Is that our record on the road? I'm not surprised. And of course, these next 3 games are on the road. All these games are winnable. Wolves just need to lock in. They really do. And there were moments tonight we were locked in, but there was just too many missed shots when we really could have won this game by quite a lot. And I don't want to keep saying the things that we said last year in the playoff series against Memphis is like, oh, we were up by 10 and then we lost it. We were ahead every single game. Let's work. I'm going to do a post game in 20 minutes. Hey, you're going to do a post game. Nice. I got to check out your channel. But yeah, I don't know. It's just frustrating loss tonight. I think the Timberwolves have some good winnable games coming up in the next 4 games, because you really need to go at least 2-2 in these next 2, if not 3-1 or 4-0, because the last 4 games of March, I don't know. The Timberwolves team, they lock in for the important games, and then they don't lock in for the games that are like a little less important, like tonight's game. They just don't feel the same urgency. And maybe they did a little bit tonight, but like tonight, there was a legitimate chance, if all the other teams won, that we could have gone to the 10th seed or tied for the 10th seed or something like that. I think we had the tiebreakers on a couple of those teams, but either way, we'd be tied for the same record. And we lost. That's not good. We showed a little bit of signs of coming back in the 4th quarter, even through really tough officiating and really tough, just calls in general. But yeah. But I think that's it for me. I'm hungry. I want to eat my dinner tonight. So I am going to go. I will be back for Friday's game. I think I might be a little late for Friday's game, but I will be there. And then I'll also be doing Saturday's game. Might be a little tricky. I don't know exactly if I can do that, but at least Fridays, and then Mondays and Wednesdays. So we'll see. But if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, like the video. We do this after every game, and let's see. I did not get the link, T. But if you can like message us on Twitter or something, or tag us on Twitter or something, you could do that. If the Wolves would have started 15-5, like a lot of people predicted, instead of 10-10, they exactly. This is what we were talking about. This game, I think that's the way we'll go out on the stream tonight. This game was. Sorry, we don't have an IG. Sorry, my dog's going nuts. This game, there were bad calls that affected this game's outcome. I think tonight it's fair to say that the Wolves, not always is it fair to say this, but I think tonight it was fair to say that the refs legitimately cost us a chance at this game, like for sure. But we should not be in the situation where one game like this could bring us to the 10th seed. we just have to be in a better situation. We have to win these games earlier. I mean, we played the Spurs 3 times in like the first 2 weeks of the season. And what did we do? We went 1-2 or something against them. I don't know. It's just, those are the kind of games that you just have to lock in early season because it matters. And we didn't have Ant being great off the rip either. And we also were trying to do all the Rudy stuff and the Cat stuff, and it was just bad. But I don't know. T-Sweezy, well, I'll check it out. I appreciate it. But that's it. We're going to do intros, the outro. I think 42 wins is still possible. Man, if we don't win 42 games. I will say, in an unpublished thing, I've said this a million times, I predicted that we were going to go 42-40. And then I had to change it because I thought that was too low. Seems like that might be spot on right now. Pat Bev on Friday. We'll see you then, Pat Bev. We love Pat Bev. Anyways, intro is the outro. I'll see you guys Friday? Yeah, Friday. See you then.